Okay, we're factoring polynomials, and now we're going to use another method called difference of squares. The main idea of this method is to get square roots, and then you put those square roots in parentheses. You're going to have two parentheses, one with plus and the other one with minus. It's very simple. But there are some restrictions. The restriction is that in order to use this method, there has to be only two terms, and they have to be subtracting. If you don't have two terms, you have more than two terms, you cannot use this method. Okay? And if they're not subtracting but adding, there is a way to use the method, but that's for a different level. In this case, we're going to focus that they have to be subtracting. Okay? Also, there's an extra step that sometimes, even if you get the square roots and you put them with plus and minus in parentheses, you're gonna see that sometimes you can still get square roots on other parentheses, and you can repeat the process. So every time you can repeat the process, do it. Keep repeating the process until you cannot get square roots. Okay, so that's something that we need to remember. Okay, let's solve some exercises. Okay, factor the following polynomials. This one. Okay, if you see two terms and they're subtracting, right? So we can use the method. Okay, all we need to do is get the square roots of these two terms. Square root of x squared is always x. Okay, square root of x squared is gonna be x. Could be absolute value of x, yes, but we're gonna always use it as x in here when we're decomposing this. Okay, and square root of 9 is 3. So I'm gonna put two parentheses. Okay, in one of them I'm gonna put the square roots with plus x plus 3. Okay, in the other parenthesis I'm gonna put the same square roots but with minus x minus 3, and that's it. That will be the answer. Okay, where did I get the 3? Okay, the 3 is the square root of 9. Square root of 9 is 3. Where did I get the x? Square root of x is of x squared is x. Okay, let's see this other example. Again, I have two things, they're subtracting, so I can use the method. Yes, so all I need to do is get the square roots. Okay, square root of 100x squared will be 10x. Okay, square root of 4y squared will be 2y, because 4, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of y squared is y, so the square root of 4y squared will be 2y. Okay, so I'm gonna put those things with plus, and I'm gonna copy them again but with minus, and that's it. You put them with plus and with minus, and that's it. All you need to do is get the square roots of these stuffs. You put them with plus and minus, and that's it. That is the method. Okay, let's do this one now. Okay, square root of 81 is 9. Square root of a squared is normal a. Okay, now square root of 25. Remember, we need to put this thing in both cases with plus and with minus, right? Okay, so now I need to get the square roots of this thing. Okay, square root of 25 is 5, and square root of x 6 is x 3. Okay, basically like half of the exponent. That's how you get square roots of letters. Okay, so I'm also gonna put 5x3 on the other side. Yes, I put them the same with plus and with minus. That's the idea. Let's see this one now. See, yes. Okay, see this one. I have 16r4 minus 625. So let's get the square roots of this one. Okay, square root of 16 is 4. Square root of r4 is r2. Remember, it's basically half of the exponent. Okay, I'm gonna put it with plus. Square root of 625 is 25. So I put these things with plus, and I'm gonna copy them again, but this time I'm gonna copy them with a minus. Okay, and here's the trick. Do you see that this thing also inside this parenthesis, the second parenthesis, there are two things. subtracting, kind of like the exercise. So yeah, I can use the method in here, okay? Should I or should I not? The key is, can I get a square root or not? Like in this one, I cannot get a square root, even if I had a number that I could get a square root, because the letter doesn't have an exponent. If it doesn't have an exponent, you cannot get the square root of that thingy, okay? Also, the number cannot, like technically doesn't allow you to get a square root. In this one, there is an exponent in the answer, yes, but it's an exponent 3. You cannot get half of that thing, okay, and get like a normal answer. No. So also here you cannot use the method because you're not gonna get like half of 3 to get the square root. But in this case, yes, you can get half of 2, and also 25 has a square root and 4 has a square root, so you can get square roots in here. Remember, extra step, if you can repeat the process, then do it. I have to repeat the process, okay? How am I gonna repeat the process? Okay, I'm gonna copy the one that where I'm not going to use the process, okay? The first parenthesis is with plus, not with minus, so I cannot do anything with the first parenthesis. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy it. But in this other parenthesis, in the second one, yes, I can split it in 2 pieces, okay? In these 2 pieces, I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to get square roots and put them with plus and with minus. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of R2 is R, okay? Square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to put those with plus, 2R plus 5. And I'm going to put them with minus, 2R minus 5, okay? So you need to be careful with that. If you can repeat the process in the second parenthesis, be careful, okay? You have to do it, okay? So I did the process twice. It's not difficult. I'm just doing the process twice, okay? Let's see this other exercise. 2 things subtracting, so I can use the process, okay? Square root of x4 is x2, okay? Plus square root of y4 is y2, okay? And I'm gonna copy the same thing, but this time with a minus, okay? Now I can see in here that I have 2 things subtracting, okay, and I can get square root of them because square root of x2 is x and square root of y2 is y. So I'm gonna copy another step, okay, where I'm gonna put the first parenthesis because I cannot do the process with the first parenthesis because it has a plus. Remember, you cannot do the process if you have a plus. They need to be subtracting, okay? So yeah, I copy that thing and then I put 2 parentheses. In those 2 parentheses, I'm gonna put the square roots of the other part, okay? Square root of x and square root of x squared and square root of y squared, which will be x plus y and x minus y. And that's it. Okay, so let's see this one. Square root of 81, 9. Square root of s4, s2. Square root of 16, 4. Square root of t8, t4. Okay, and I'm gonna put the same thing again with a minus. Okay. Next, I can continue the process because the second one, I can get the square root for the second one also. So first I copy the one with plus because I cannot use the process in the one with plus. Then I'm gonna get square root of 9 is 3, square root of s2 is s, plus square root of 4 is 2, square root of t4 is t2. I'm gonna put the same thing with a minus. Okay. Let's reduce the size of this thing. Okay, there we go. Now, I can get the square root of t2, but I cannot get square root of 2. I cannot get square root of 3, and more especially, I cannot get square root of s. So it's going to stay like that. And that's it. That's how you use difference of squares.